What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are previewing preseason week one games. We did the Hall of Fame game last week. We will do the preseason week one games this week, today, and then on probably Wednesday, we'll break down the Hard Knocks episode one. We'll try that out. Last year I couldn't get through all of Hard Knocks, so if I don't get through it, we'll just kind of stop that part of it. But we're gonna go into previewing these games each week, and hopefully we get to see some exciting stuff. So I won't keep you guys too much longer. Let's start breaking down these games. We'll go in chronological order of the game. So starting with Thursday night games, we have a couple games Thursday. A 7 o'clock game, which is Houston versus New England. So what I'm really excited for with the Houston Texans is let's see CJ Stroud strap up, and kind of how good is this Houston Texans receiving core. They have a couple veterans on the team, with Robert Woods and some other veterans, but they've got a lot of youth. You have Nico Collins, who I would call him a veteran, because he's been in the league for a few years, but he just hasn't really gotten a lot of time healthy in this league. John Mechie coming back from leukemia. Of course, you got Tank Dell that they drafted, and they've got some other guys that they've drafted as well. So I just am excited to see what the receiving core looks like and how CJ Stroud operates the system and what his poise is. I don't care about gaudy stats. I just want to see his poise in the pocket and everything like that. On the New England Patriots side, obviously we're excited to see Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator, but it's preseason. They're not going to do anything crazy. So I think Pierre Strong Jr., the running back out of South Dakota State from 2 years ago. They got him in the fourth round, I believe, last year. And then also Malik Cunningham, the wide receiver. He's going to be a wide receiver now. He was a quarterback for Louisville, and he's going to kind of switch up and be a wide receiver for them. So let's get into the 10 o'clock games. Okay, sorry about that. So we got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Seattle Seahawks. So with the Minnesota Vikings, they have Brian Flores coming over to be their defensive coordinator. I expect that defense to be really, really good on top of the O'Connell offense that they're going to be running. So Ivan Pace Jr., an undrafted free agent rookie linebacker from Cincinnati. I'm excited to see what he can do in this defense. He's kind of a Brian Flores type guy. We've talked about him a little bit on here before. So he's a guy I'm excited to see in here. Seattle Seahawks, let's see. I'm excited about DJ Dallas. Their running back core is extremely banged up right now. Ken Walker's out with a groin. Zach Charbonnet, who they drafted in the second or third round this year, he is out with a shoulder injury. They're not really sure what's going on with that. And then that's okay because they've got a third guy they just drafted, Kenny McIntosh, in the seventh round. He's actually out as well. They don't know how long he's going to be out either. So they're already banged up. They usually get banged up throughout the year. I think DJ Dallas is the number one running back there, and I want to see if he can kind of take hold of that. He's been in the league for, I think, 3 years now, and he's kind of just been RB3, RB4 on some teams. I want to see if he can take strides because he can catch really well. He's got he's got average speed, and he's got a little power to his game. So I want to see him take charge of this team. And then Stone Forsythe, the swing tackle that they have from Florida a couple years ago. I believe he was also a seventh-round pick. He's a big guy. I just want to see if he can succeed and kind of solidify himself as the swing tackle for the future. He probably won't make himself get himself a starting spot, but if someone goes down at left tackle or right tackle, can he be the guy that automatically gets put up in there? All right, moving on to Friday's games. They have 6 games on Friday. So we'll start with the Falcons and the Dolphins. Obviously, this one was very easy for the Falcons. Let's see Bijan Robinson. Let's see the 21 personnel with 2 running backs and 1 tight end, and have all their weapons out there. I'm excited to see what the personnel looks like. And obviously, Bijan Robinson. He was listed on the depth chart that came out today as RB3. That's that's to be expected. He doesn't know the plays yet. You got Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier, who have been there in the system for 1 to 2 years now, and I think in about a week or two he'll be RB1. Everyone knows that. So it's kind of, they're just playing games right now, with their depth chart, kind of giving praise to the veterans. That's what every single team right now is doing. And then the Dolphins, let's look at them. I'm excited to see Cam Smith. Jalen Ramsey went down with an injury, meniscus tear. He'll be out for at least half the season, most likely. So let's see if their second round pick, Cam Smith, from South Carolina. Let's see if he can lock down a side on the other side of Xavier Howard. Next game, we have the Packers and the Bengals. For the Packers, it's obvious for me. They've got a bunch of young weapons, but I want to see the 2 tight ends that they just drafted. Luke Musgrave from Oregon State and Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State. I want to see what these 2 tight ends can do in preseason. They should be mismatched nightmares. And who is their quarterback? They have Alex Magoo and Sean Clifford as the backup quarterbacks that'll be playing late on in the game, and I hope they just dump it down to Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft and just let them go to work. For the Bengals, everyone knows he was one of my draft crushes. Him and his brother Sidney Brown. This is Chase Brown. I'm very excited for running back Chase Brown. Chris Evans will be nice to watch as well at running back for them, but I think Chase Brown is going to, blocking's not usually too good in preseason, but I think there's a chance he gets like 15 touches, and there's a chance he goes for 100 yards. So I'm putting that out there. We'll see. The next game, we got the Steelers versus the Buccaneers. I'm going to try to speed this up because I was trying to go for about a 10-minute video. We're already at 7.5 minutes. So the Steelers and Buccaneers, we got Broderick Jones, their first-round pick, tackle out of Georgia, super athletic tackle. And then I also threw in here Darius Higgins, the running back out of Virginia State. He's a guy we talked about a little bit in the undrafted series that we were doing. He's electric. I'm just excited to see him work. But Broderick Jones is going to maul some people to, Friday? In 2 days. Kyle Trask versus Baker Mayfield is the matchup I'm excited about with the Buccaneers. Let's see who can win this quarterback one battle. They're both probably going to be playing a lot this entire game, I would imagine, because it's reps on top of reps that they're really needing that are not against their own defense. You play against your own defense so many times, you kind of get their tendencies. Let's play against a new team. We got the Steelers coming in to Tampa Bay, so that'll be exciting. The Giants versus the Lions is the next game. I will say Bryce Ford Wheaton, the undrafted free agent, wide receiver out of West Virginia. He's super big, red zone target, great contested catch guy. I'm excited to see what he can do. And then Detroit, let's look at the 2 first-round picks they took, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell, linebacker from Iowa. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be an explosive athlete. Let's see what he can do on the offense. And then Jack Campbell, is he flying all around the field? That's what I'm excited for in that game. All right, the next game we have the Commanders and Browns. With the Commanders, of course, it's Sam Howell. Let's see what he does as QB1 for that team. He played in a couple games last year and looked pretty good as QB1. And then with the Browns, let's see if DTR can do it again. Can Dorian Thompson-Robinson go out there and put on a show like he did last week in the Hall of Fame game? I think he can, and I'm very, very excited to see what he can do in that game. The next game, we have the Broncos and Cardinals. It's the late night Friday night game. The Broncos, again, 2 undrafted guys that we've talked about. Jaleel McLaughlin from Youngstown State, the running back. He's a smaller running back, extremely good vision, super quick. If you get your hands on him, he's going to go down almost immediately. But he can slip and slide through the holes. He's quick. So I'm excited to see him work a little bit. And then PJ Mustafar, the defensive tackle from Penn State, is another undrafted guy that I thought would be a fifth round pick. He ended up going undrafted. I think they got themselves a steal there. And then the Cardinals in that same game, the Cardinals, are they a dumpster fire this year? Are they what the 2019 Miami Dolphins were last? I guess I almost said last year, but the 2019 Miami Dolphins, is that kind of what we're gonna see? Where the first few weeks, I mean, it's just people don't know what they're doing. You might see them get blown out by 40 points in the first week. I'm not kidding. The practices look rough. It looks like receivers don't know where they're going. Quarterbacks don't know what they're doing. Defensive backs aren't running the right coverage they're supposed to be running. We'll see. Let's see if they get embarrassed in a preseason game. But yeah, this could get ugly. I think it could get uglier than the 2019 Miami Dolphins, and I think Jonathan Gannon could get fired before the season's over. That's my prediction. Jonathan Gannon gets fired before the season ends. All right, let's get to these Saturday games because then we got 2 Sunday games only. What are we at? 11 minutes. Crap. All right, we got the Colts and the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, Anthony Richardson. Let's see if he could be magical. How much is he going to play? I think he's probably going to play a decent amount. And then Evan Hull, the running back out of Northwestern, the do-it-all back. He's nothing flashy, but he gets the job done. Those are 2 guys I'm excited for with the Colts. And then the Buffalo Bills, we have Khalil Shakur, the wide receiver, slot receiver from Boise State. Last year at the end of the year, he kind of took a step up and flashed during the playoff games. Is he going to do that again? And James Cook, their running back. He's looking really good in camp right now, catching balls, running outside zone. I'm excited to see if he can take that next step and become an RB1. The next game we have is the Tennessee Titans versus the Bears. This is a battle for backup running back. So we've got Tyjae Spears, running back out of Tulane this year. And then we have Julius Chestnut. I didn't put Hassan Haskins in here because he does have legal situations he's dealing with right now. He is still on the team. I think they expect him to play, but I don't know anything about the legal situation, so I won't talk about it. We'll put Julius Chestnut in here. The running back out of Sacred Heart. Last year, he got some play time as a special teamer late in the season. So let's see if he can kind of take that stride and be RB2, RB3. And then who are they playing? They're playing the Bears. Let's look at the 2 defensive tackles. So it's running backs versus the 2 defensive tackles they drafted. Gervon Dexter out of Florida and Zach Pickens out of South Carolina. Both extremely quick-twitched, pass-rushing interior defensive linemen. I think they're going to wreak havoc on backup quarterbacks in this game. I think if you put both of them in there together, I think offensive linemen are going to get really, really frustrated. Then the next game, we have the Jets versus the Carolina Panthers. We got the guys from last week that did well. Trey Dean, Israel Abanikanda. But Jason Brownlee, the wide receiver that we talked about out of Southern Miss, he was kind of MIA last week. Yes, their quarterbacks were not doing very well, not doing him any favors. I want to see him make a statement this week. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And then with Carolina, of course, it's Bryce Young. It's Bryce Young time. You can't draft someone number 1 overall and then me not expect to see them play. The next, we have the Dallas Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, I want to see their tackle play. Walker Little and Antoine Harrison. Antoine Harrison out of Oklahoma, who they drafted this year in the first round, actually, in the back of the first. And then Walker Little out of Stanford that they drafted a couple years ago. Jawan Taylor's gone. Cam Robinson suspended for the first couple games. So these are going to be the tackles that they have to work with this year. How do they do in preseason? And then we got Deuce Vaughn, of course, the 5'5", 170-pound running back for the Dallas Cowboys. I want to see him splash. I want to see some lightning and thunder going with him running the ball. He's an exciting guy to watch. He's a guy who everyone's rooting for. I'm excited to see him play. I hope he gets in there for a decent amount of touches. Now let's go with the next game, which is Philly versus Baltimore. So with Philly, this is going to be boring, but all the Georgia defensive linemen, all the Georgia defensive players, Nakobe Dean. I want to see, I want to see Jalen Carter. I want to see all those Georgia players on the defense ball. And then punt and kick returner Britton Covey from Utah. I want to see him play as well. I want to see him return a couple of these punts. With Baltimore, we got, of course, Zay Flowers, the wide receiver out of Boston College, their first-round pick. I want to see this dude. He is very shifty slot receiver. He is twitched up in every good way. And then, of course, one more guy I want to put out there is Keaton Mitchell, the running back out of ECU. He's a smaller running back, but he's fast. He's like 4.3 fast. I want to see him get in there. And, I mean, I don't know if he'll do much on the ground, but I think he's also going to be returning. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did return one to the house. The next game we have, and one of the last 3 games. We only got 3 games left, guys. What are we at? 16 minutes? Perfect. I apologize. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, Chargers versus Rams. We have Isaiah Spiller versus Joshua Kelly. Who's going to win this backup running back spot? Joshua Kelly hasn't looked great, but last year Isaiah Spiller barely saw the field. I think he got 13 touches the entire season. And then Puka Nacua, the wide receiver, Puka Nacua, out of BYU, is flashing in preseason. Let's see what he can do. And Stetson Bennett, let's see him throwing the ball. So I'm excited to see Stetson Bennett throwing, Puka Nacua catching. All right, last 2 games. These are the Sunday games. We got a 1 o'clock Eastern and a 4 o'clock Eastern. It's the Chiefs at Saints at 1 o'clock. Of course, everyone wants to see Deneric Prince from Tulsa, the running back from Tulsa. He's flashing in camp. Jerick McKinnon is saying how great he is. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is in trouble, I think. And also, next year, I think Jerick McKinnon won't be on the team, and it's going to be Isaiah Pacheco and Deneric Prince. I called Deneric Prince as an undrafted free agent when we were going over that stuff in the undrafted free agent series. Let's see if he makes the roster, and I'm correct about that. And then with the Saints, we got Anthony Orji, the linebacker from Vanderbilt, and Shaq Davis, the wide receiver from South Carolina State. I want to see what they can do for them. Let's see if we can get 2 of these undrafted guys making the roster for the Saints. I kind of do believe in both of those guys. And finally, the last game of the Week 1 preseason is the 49ers versus the Raiders. 49ers, I got 2 guys I'm very, very excited about. Joey Fisher, the offensive lineman. He played tackle. I think they're going to move him to interior offensive lineman from Shepherd. And then Kalen Laybourne from Marshall, running back from Marshall. He was at the Hula Bowl. I got to watch him at the Hula Bowl. He is a little bit smaller, but he's got good vision. He runs with decent contact balance. Not really good power, but his contact balance is fine. And he's got some speed to him too. And then with the Raiders, let's go with a couple more undrafted guys. We haven't given offensive line much love, so we'll go ahead and give them some more. McClendon Curtis, the interior offensive lineman from UT Chattanooga, and Dalton Wagner, the offensive tackle from Arkansas. Dalton Wagner is big. He's like 6'8", 340 pounds. So I'm excited to see that guy work out there. So appreciate you guys watching this. Sorry, it's about to be 20 minutes long, but I wanted to get this over with. Not get it over with. I want to get this out before the games, just so if you have a specific team you're looking for that you're excited to see some of these guys, maybe we talk about them, show them some love. So if they end up making the roster, I sound pretty smart. So that's all I got for you guys.